Morning, everybody. Welcome to the January 27th, 2026 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. It does not sound like my voice is amplifying. We've got a brand new system in here, and as you know about technology, it'll always surprise you. So we will carry on if we can. We will start as we always do with an invocation, so please stand with me. Dear Heavenly Father, look over us as we make decisions for our county to help as best we can. Please watch over our community as we deal with the weather. Please be with those in our region, neighboring states who are dealing with much more damage than we are. Please watch over our uniform and road crews as they continue to help the citizens of our community. We say these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Join me for pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, we'll have to, you have to bear with us if you can't hear me, but we'll do the best we can. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Magistrate Starks?
Here.
Magistrate Berry is absent. Magistrate Southard?
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins?
Yes, ma'am.
And Magistrate Putman?
Here. Gentlemen, you have before you in your packet the minutes of the January 13th, 2026 Fiscal Court meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second.
I'd
Hold
like
on.
to make an amendment
Okay.
Yeah.
to it. It's in the date on the very first paragraph. It says, I made the motion for the December 25th meeting, and it should be the 23rd.
Okay. With that correction, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, because of the weather conditions, obviously, we're going to have to postpone our Judge's Scholar presentation as well as another proclamation we were going to do. We will reschedule those as quickly as possible. But we do have with us for our next item, Mark Julian, our Water District Superintendent, to give us an update. And we'll make our decision about whether to release more funds for their water leak project. So, Mark, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you. So last month at our report, you wanted the same monthly report we give and then a straightforward accounting of what we've accomplished since you all were helping us out with our grant. This is just the monthly report, real quick. It just shows that we basically purchased so many 38 million gallons from HWU, sold 25 million to our customers, and it just shows that water leaks were higher. Water loss was higher due to breaks in reed that have since been fixed. We had a lot of end-of-year inventory, preparing for our audit, things like that prevented, and then weather. We had less working days, which is why we had less leaks fixed last month. That's just the purchase water. So these are the monthly highlights that just shows that our contractor performed so many hours, 144 hours of leak detection last month. The meter changeouts will begin next month. We'll replace 1,100 customer meters in Basket and Reed in Spotsville, and we have zone meters on order. And then we are continuing our countywide hydrant inventory, where every hydrant's going to be inventoried and inspected, and maintenance performed on those hydrants. We've got 68% of those complete in the entire county, so 355 of about 530 hydrants. And we've done all our purchase meter testing for compliance with the Public Service Commission. So this is the project overview since June. What have we accomplished since June? What did we get done specifically? So we have increased our field staff by 8 full-time positions to allow the district to have multiple service crews to complete more tasks each day. These positions include a heavy equipment operator that's in training, 2 2 meter readers, 2 GIS mapping, or excuse me, 2 field technicians to assist with water leaks and completing work orders, 2 field techs for GIS, which would add to the mapping of our infrastructure, and then 1 water accountability tech, which is our staff leak detector. We've also purchased 2 vehicles to accommodate the additional staff. We also are going to be, we have a service truck that's on order, expect delivery next month. We have trained all the new employees as well as the concurrent employees prior to the grant on safety, leak detection, and mapping. 30% of the system has been mapped, and we could not have accomplished that without your help. So those specifics on how much of the infrastructure has been mapped since June, as I said, we've got 355 of about 530 hydrants, so 68% of all the fire hydrants in the system have been inspected, logged, pictures, maintenance performed. We've also added 483 valves in the system, which help us control water flow throughout the system. We have GPS'd 933 water meters out of our 6,500 water meters in the system. 421 of our about 500 miles of water mains have been GPS'd. And so about 2,000 total water system features have been accurately and successfully mapped, about 30% of the system. The equipment we've purchased with the grant, we've got 2 leak detection devices. Those are the acoustic listening devices that I've referred to in the past. We have bought 1 GPS transceiver for GIS mapping. Additional staff use tablets with, they're not as accurate, but they do get more of the system mapped than if we just have 1 guy out with 1 device. We have purchased 1,308 new customer meters, which the contractor is expected to get started in February. That was bid out through sealed bids. And then we've bought 1 portable flow meter. Once we expose the main, we can put that device on there and get flow readings, which helps us document where water flow is going in the system. Parts and supplies, all water main repair parts, all service line repair parts, including all the service lines, service leaks that we have repaired on customer service lines before the meter have been replaced, main to meter, with new service lines. That is advantageous because then we don't have to go back and spend more time and more money making those repairs when we renew those all entirely. Also, administrative and legal fees as part of this project to file the necessary paperwork with the Kentucky PSC. This is just showing our mapping progress. If you see the numbers in blue under water valves, 331 on this screenshot, 825 meters, 112 hydrants, and so forth. The bar graph at the bottom of the screen up here just shows how many things were done each day. That graph does not go all the way back to June, but it is the last 180 days. This is the hydrant inspection map. Every hydrant feature you see on the bottom of your screen there. In blue, that's a hydrant that has been touched by district staff, pictures taken, painted, maintenance performed to it, and there's a record of that, time and date and how much time was spent on the hydrant. Chlorine residuals, what the flow tests is, we're supplying that to the county as volunteer fire departments as those volunteer fire departments come up for their ISO audit. So the meter change-out contractor, All Drive, will start replacing meters in next month. Should be completed by the end of March. The contractor that we procured for our leak detection and our help out our crews with leak repairs, they have performed 672 man-hours of leak detection since June. They have found almost 100 leaks. They've fixed 50, where district staff has fixed the other remaining leaks, and then they have also had to help us set 12 meters. And I'm also pleased to report that we're totally caught up on new customer meters where they were having like a backlog. Even with the weather and with the end of the year, we've got those caught up. So hopefully now customers will not have to wait near as long. I'm pleased to report that. This slide is a lot of words, but I'll try to summarize for brevity. Basically, the text in black is what we set out to, our goals that we set out to accomplish at the beginning of this project, and blue is what we've accomplished. So we said in the first 6 months, we would install any remaining isolation valves. These are additional valves that we installed in the system to be able to create those 5 zones that you've heard me talk about. So we installed over 10, and those zones were established basically as soon as we signed our grant agreement with the Fiscal Court. Start analyzing which areas of the system have the highest difference between purchased water and water we bill our customers for. We had advertised for bids for equipment, materials, and contractors to help us with this project. We have interviewed and hired and trained more than 3 hires. We've got 8 now, but in the first few months, we had done 3. We have examined all the zones in the system, all 5, and which route to determine the highest areas for water loss, and then we performed leak detection in those areas with the contractor's assistance. We had also done an assessment of how many meters need to be swapped out for testing requirements and help us get caught up with our backlog. With the current funding that we had received, we were able to purchase 1,508 new water meters. That 1,108 that you heard me talk about, that's what the contractor is going to install next month. And we had no new meters left, so we bought an additional, 300 meters so that staff could start changing out those old meters. Once they get to the end of their service life, the displays don't work, and that's revenue that the water district doesn't get when those meters malfunction. So we're getting those replaced. Deploy subzone meters and award the contract for the SCADA upgrade. So this is our telemetry that says when the tanks are full, when pumps need to kick on. That project was awarded, and the contractor starting in February. There is going to be a small delay of maybe a week or 2 just because of this weather that we've recently experienced. Training has been provided to all concurrent and new staff. For operations, new staff, depending on the position they were hired for, have been trained for their appropriate job duty. This primarily includes the GIS mapping, leak detection, and repair crews. The GIS updates I've already stated, and then our valve exercising program has been replaced temporarily with the hydrant inspections because of operational needs, working with the county and the emergency management and volunteer fire departments. Let's see. So we purchased more equipment. We performed that 672 hours of leak detection. Reports have gone to the Fiscal Court, our Water District Board, and the PSC each month. The goal of reducing our water loss to below 40% by December, we have decreased it, and it's averaging in the 20% range. This more than meets our goal of a loss percentage of 40%. And then, of course, our purchase meters were tested in December as for compliance reasons and to make sure that we're being billed accurately for the water that we sell to our customers. And just says, at the bottom there, it just says which zones and which meters needs to be replaced or tested good. Phase 2, what does that look like? These are the conservative goals that we set out at the beginning of the project. We wanted to be able to meet or exceed those goals at all times, and I believe we have measurable data to support that. This is just talking about what's to come, months 7 through 24. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just want to commend you on doing a really good job. And I read through the reports here, and I like the detail. It shows exactly what we're getting for the money and shows quantitative improvement every time you come with a report. So congrats to you and your staff. Great job.
Thank you. We couldn't have done it without your support.
Any other questions?
Mark, is there a plan after this project is completed? And I know this didn't happen overnight. It's not getting fixed overnight, but you're doing a whole lot to try to get to where it should be. Is there a plan after this is done to ensure that the water district is self-sustaining and that we don't get back here again where there is neglect to the point where the fiscal court has to take tax dollars and try to fix things?
Absolutely, County Attorney Gold. We have just recently been working with Strand Engineers in December and also GRAD Skylar Stewart is the head director over there, and she met with us during the month of December, and we've got a project put together. We're going to go after funding grant, and it's going to be a mix of grant and loans that the district is going to take on without assistance to ensure that the infrastructure is maintained and replaced, so we don't get into this spot again. And I just want to add one important detail. We've talked about at what point does the water district get to where we can financially be self-sufficient again. Last month, we broke even. So that's the first time in more than 24 months that has occurred. So progress is being made. It is not lightning fast, but it is positive.
I have to disagree. It's been really lightning fast for what you took on, what you've accomplished. It's been impressive to watch.
Well, thank you. We just want to do the job right. You know, we want to be responsible to the citizens of this county and to the members of the fiscal courts.
It's really good news to hear about breaking even, because, I mean, that's the whole goal, is you needed to do this to make yourself viable, right? The district be viable and provide water to our citizens. So that's a good bit of news. I am, going from 51% leakage when this started in that neighborhood down to an average of, 20 to 25%, with the ultimate goal of being at the most 15%. Is that the state average?
That's where we want to be below.
Yeah. I think we've seen progress, a lot of progress. So I appreciate the information, and our task now is to decide if we want to release the other $1.5 million to the district to keep up this work. And I'll entertain any discussion.
I make the motion that we release the funds.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
Just again, I want to tag on to what Mr. Gold said about sustaining. We're not looking at any water increases, right?
There's none planned. There's none planned.
Okay.
We want to do what we can do with our current rate structure.
Right.
That's our intention.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
And I was just going to ask, is the amount of money that we discussed, previously going to be enough to get where you think we need to be?
We are going to make it work.
And real quick, of course, I think we've got a leak right now out in the 60 East area, Melody Lane, and with the temperatures as cold as they have been, just want to remind folks, try to do all that you can to keep your water dripping, especially at night when it gets so cold.
Yeah, just a pencil lead stream. I know it adds probably cents to a couple dollars to your average water bill, but it really prevents staff risking safety getting out there, because we can only freeze it up to the meter. Once it gets past the customer side of the meter, it is on the customer to call a plumber, and that's unfortunate, but that's the job we're tasked to do.
And the break at Melody Lane's...
It's fixed. The samples were dropped off this morning to the lab, and as soon as we can, we'll get that boil water advisory lifted.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
We have an appointment to the Library Board of Trustees, and after consulting with the director, I would like to propose Sean Lovell to take over that position. Sean is an HLI graduate and moved here probably 6-7 years ago and has quickly become very active in our community. And I talked to him about serving on the library board, and he was eager to do so. So I propose Sean Lovell. He works at hospice. He is part of the staff leadership at hospice, so obviously doing good stuff. So I'll entertain a motion to approve Sean's appointment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You also have in your packets a application for a block grant for our ambulance service. The state of Kentucky has an ambulance block grant program. We obviously partner with Deaconess in the city for our ambulance program. Deaconess would like to apply for a grant of $10,000. You might have read, hopefully you read the explanation. So it does flow through us. I need to sign it, so I need your permission. You can get a motion to that effect.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have been working diligently, and I'm going to ask Nick Stallings if he'd like to come up and comment, to create a better situation at Basket for the softball field there and the youth leagues that utilize it, as well as the concession stands / bathrooms that are connected. And we've been going over our options for this over the last, 8 months. And we have a solution, we think. There were some complications with ownership of adjacent properties by the Basket Fire Department, and a lease that was in place to Atmos Energy that kind of complicated things. And Nick went out and inspected the existing building again, gave it a walkthrough, and I'm going to let him describe what he found and what the next step might be.
Okay, to kind of get to the point we're at now, the restrooms has been an issue. Basket Recreational League uses it for their baseball for 3 or 4 months of the year. We've also heard other interest of wanting to use it to practice with the prices at the health, the healthplex being what they are. They're also looking at wanting to use our facilities for practice throughout the year. The bathrooms had to be shut down last year because we were having problems with the septic tank. We had that inspected. It's beyond repair. So the utilizing the existing septic tank is out of question. I've been contacting, and I've actually been in contact with the septic tank installer. He can put one on site of our actual property that we own. I've been in contact with Health Department. They have approved us to put a septic tank out there for our lateral lines. I've went and kind of looked at the area that's out there right now. The bathrooms are in good condition. It's a block building. They're sound. Their storage room is sound, and so is their concession stands. The area out front, the sitting area to eat your snacks and to get out of the sun is kind of in disrepair. I'm working on plans to get that rebuilt. It's kind of an open air structure, with a post frame and girders, and then with putting trusses down and then re-sheeting the whole entire thing. So as far as with the roof, so what I'm looking to do is go out for bids to get that repaired, through the plans that I'll put together for that. Once that'll happen, we'll put it out for bid, and then hopefully, good weather, March time frame, we can get that repaired. Shouldn't take that long, and then it'll be open for the Basket Park Recreational League. The septic tank will go in, concurrently as the building gets repaired.
And we have money in the budget for this.
I guess, yes.
So not to move any money
Judge
to.
and Nick, I would note to the court, you'd mentioned earlier there was one option was looking at property owned by the volunteer fire department out there. Very recently, they did provide me a document that they had recorded that may have ended that lease. We've sent that to the title examiner on that property. If there's still an interest in purchasing that property, that particular impediment may not be there anymore. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that.
Okay, and the reason why we're looking at the property where we're at is because the restrooms at the Basket Fire Department and the restrooms at the Recreation League were all tied together to a septic tank and lateral lines out in the Basket Fire Department. The guy that we had go out and look at that to assess it, the septic tank's got to come out, lateral lines, and he doesn't think it's a good area or even will pass, since there's so much rock and so much backfill in that area. He don't think it even pass for a new septic tank or lateral lines. But the health department did agree that we would be able to put it out on our property on the current the Basket Park for the county they said that, we have enough room out there to go ahead and place it out there.
I just wanted to make it clear that if
Yeah,
there was,
yeah, oh, yes,
if there
yes.
was an
And-
interest in purchasing that problem
and
may
the
not
bi-
be there anymore.
Yeah, the building will, the white building, that the Basket Fire Department will need to take on some repair to get it into the stage for them to use it as a concession stand, and the bathrooms will have to be, rebuilt. They've been closed for quite some time. So right now.
To orient you, let me get everybody up to speed. The concession stand, the existing concession stand is right behind the screen, right behind home plate, where they normally are. Right? Within, 30 feet, 40 feet farther back is a building owned by the Basket Fire Department. They used it for storage, I believe, and other things. And then beside that, one step back from that is a empty lot, not a big lot, but they own that as well. And for the last couple of years, we have been talking about perhaps buying that building for our basket activities, basket park activities, thinking that the existing concession stand might be beyond its useful life, and perhaps turning that volunteer fire department building into a concession stand with restrooms. However, you've heard Nick say the existing one is worth salvaging, worth fixing up. Nick, do you see any, and now that Basket has moved its fire department out to 60, I think they'd be open to us buying it, but do you see a purpose for that would be advantageous to the county?
Well, if for working out pricing, it obviously wouldn't be bad to have it. We do have areas for parking. I know they're saying parking's a little bit of an issue when they have a lot of games out there, trying to find parking for everybody. That would give us ample room for parking. Plus, it'd give another structure if they do need to expand. They'll have room for storage out there. Just our main concern when we first started this fiasco was having restrooms and having a place that didn't look as bad as it did for people to sit and get out of the sun. So we do have option currently that will get that in quicker. I think we could get that rebuilt, that in place, and have the bathrooms in working condition and having sitting area in a safe condition before we could get everything done with the white building and the Basket Fire Department building. But I don't see that off the table with, again, purchase from them, because it would give us another place for them to expand. It also kind of give them a little bit bigger area to park and for their recreational area. So again, if there's a sum of money that we would purchase that from, then you all are in agreement with, let those dominoes fall how they fall, then we could purchase that also.
If you think it's a good idea, we can negotiate a little bit more with Basket to see what it would take to purchase that, and maybe bring that back to court, maybe with some more explanation about how it could benefit us and the park. If you don't mind, we'll talk some more with them and bring back a plan, or at least an offer. In the meantime, Nick would like to take out to bid the needed repairs at our existing Basket Park building and septic tank. So can I get a motion to that effect?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve going out to bid on these items. Any other question?
So, if we purchase the white building, there are bathrooms in the white building now?
But yeah, they've been closed for quite some time.
Okay.
I don't know the condition of those because we don't own the property to get back
Right.
into. But the bathrooms, the concession stand, the sinks, all that kind of deal that was set up, that was usable in the Basket Recreation League, have been used. They were just, this past season is when they were closed, so we had to use rent porta johns. So that's what we used this past season. Obviously, that's not a good long-term plan, but they're in better condition, I think, than what the bathrooms are
In the
with the
white
Basket
building.
Fire Department. Yes.
Okay.
We haven't been able to walk into them, but they've been closed for quite some time. So there's just essentially getting a new septic tank getting the lateral lines rebuilt, getting the health department to sign off on it, and then we're back in business.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck with that. Now we're going to open the bids for the surface water drainage obstruction removal contract.
Okay, these are for our standing order bids. I have 4 here. All right, the first one's from A&S. Okay, they're and what we did was we put this, we had a mandatory pre-bid meeting. You know, some questions were asked, things were answered. So we did limit this to 100-foot obstruction. They also were concerned about long reach excavator. That would be a supplemental charge if most people have a standard excavator. Some of these ditches are wide enough to where you can't reach with the standard. So I did make a surcharge for using a long reach excavator. Everybody was aware of it that came to the meeting, so that was added to the bid. And so I'm gonna read that off also. So they had the tree obstruction with cutting and removal. That's the worst case scenario that we would have, that the contractor would be up against. They bid $21,000 for that particular area. A tree obstruction with cutting but no removal, I mean they can keep it on property, that's $18,000. A tree obstruction without cutting, that can be grappled with the thumb on the trackhoe, but removed from site, that's $13,000. The tree obstruction with cutting and no removal, again placed on adjacent property to be burned or what will, that's $8,500. Vegetation obstruction with removal, that's landslides, that's sides, that's tree obstructions, that's problems there. That is $13,000. The vegetation obstruction with no removal is $8,000. We have a lot of areas out there where side slopes have just slid off, which that's causing the creek to start meandering to the left or right, depending on what side it slid off. So those areas would be repaired. That slope erosion price that they put in was $7,500. Surcharge for long reach excavator, that is if we go out there and look and we agree a long reach is needed, obviously, we'll be able to tell by looking at it. They've got a $6,000 surcharge that would be added to whichever one of these bid items, 1 through 7, that would need a standard, that need more than a standard track hoe. So those are what their bids is. And I'll take this back to review, obviously, with it being a little more in-depth than just looking at numbers. Okay, next one is Glasgow Excavating. Okay, he put tree obstruction with cutting and removal, $6,375. Tree obstruction with cutting and no removal is $5,300. He has tree obstruction without cutting and must be removed from site. That is $5,375. The tree obstruction with no cutting and no removal is $3,100. Has vegetation obstruction with removal is $3,550, and vegetation with no removal is $2,700. Slope erosion pullback is $1,900, and then the surcharge for long reach excavator is set up as $225 an hour with a minimum of a week. So yeah, so I'll look how that will play out. All right, so next one is Onan. excavating. All right, we got. Okay, so they have tree obstruction with cutting and removal from site is $6,250. The tree obstruction with cutting and no removal is $2,800. Tree obstruction with cutting and without cutting is $5,000. Tree obstruction with cutting and no removal is $2,000. The vegetation obstruction with removal from site is $4,000. The vegetation with no removal is $2,500. The slope erosion, pullback on the slope for a correction is $2,500. The long reach is $3,500 as a straight charge. All right, we got Glenn's General Contracting. Okay, we have a tree obstruction with cutting and removal is $10,400. Tree obstruction with no removal is $8,000. Tree obstruction with cutting and must be removed is $8,600. The tree obstruction without cutting and no removal is $6,600. The vegetation obstruction with removal is $8,600. The vegetation obstruction with no removal is $5,200. The slope erosion, pull back the slope, is $4,300. And the surcharge for the long reach excavator he's got is a lump sum of $5,000. So with this, we are going to do various we're going to do each individual line item as approved, so it could be 3 or 4 different contractors. The reason why I feel that would be beneficial is there's some contractors who are set up that real good with the thumb, able to pull out of the slope and move on. Some are better at cutting than they are moving, so I don't want to penalize one company who's beneficial in one than one company who's beneficial in the other. So everybody seemed to agree at the bids that would be a fair. Obviously, this is a new venture for us as a county to get into this. So it's obviously protecting the county, but then again, protecting the contractors. So these bids were also to repair the land that they get on and they move back out, because if we're not good stewards of the land, property owners ain't gonna let us out on there. So this is to help fix the land as we remove the contractor's equipment. So that's why it seemed, if something seemed elevated, it's obviously, it'd be take more entail to fix the properties. So with this, I'll take this into advisement, and I would come back at next court with approval.
Nick, I just want to clarify, you said there was a mandatory bid meeting for all interested bidders?
Yes.
Okay, you weren't talking about it, some other meeting, this
No, this is
published that if
mandatory.
they were
Yeah,
interested in bidding, they needed to be there.
It was in the bid documents, and we had it in here
Okay.
on Wednesday. I think it was last Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and we had a pretty good showing, so.
And that's not uncommon in the bid?
No, and I wanted to do that, again, show pictures and answer questions, because this is something that's not really orthodox, to do. We were just trying to get off the ground to see how well this, obviously I want this to be successful and, start getting things cleaned up. So I want to answer everybody's questions rather than having a whole lot I didn't know kind of thing, so.
Thank you, I just want to clarify that.
Yep.
Any other questions?
So who's going to take the pictures of the before so we can understand what it needs to be put back to?
That will be from our drainage commission meetings. That will be the advisory committee, magistrates, or myself, depending on where we're at and depending on where I'm at with the projects I have up front. With that grant starting soon, depending on where we're at. I mean, it'll be very quick. We'll just get the landowner's approval. go out there, get the structure removed, see what's coming in, what's coming out, make sure they agree with it. We'll have a signed off release that they're fine with what correction has been done, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Nick, the other day, me and you were in a meeting last week with the mines, and he talked about doing some drone stuff with LiDAR and different things to flying some of these ditches and obstructions and stuff. Do you have, just ballparking, do you have an idea what that would cost if we did that to?
No, I don't. I've seen different places that are, obviously their drone capabilities, are change the price, but LiDAR being tied onto the drone, typically adds a whole lot more to it. But that would be something to, if we see beneficially that it will work. I foresee the first couple of years we need to go and just tackle just the known problems on the ditches. A lot of people have their opinions of what ditch will move to what ditch, understandably. But if we got obstructions, we got clogs, we've got problems out there that has to get out of the way first before we even can get that point.
Right.
We got a whole lot of tree coverage. We got a whole lot of places that are just inundated with trees that will have to get moved out of the way just to be able to start making ditches flow. I'm not for sure how well they can project with trees being around. I know road LiDAR, once it gets into tree areas, for the side cameras, it just ends up showing, the tree itself. So nothing beyond that point, ditch slopes, back slopes, those are no longer being able to tell where you're at because a tree obstructs the view. I don't know how well this would work. And again, it's something I can investigate.
Well, I was just thinking that being in the farm world, I've put many ditches in that didn't work.
I get it. I get it. And that may be a point we get to. I would like to see, let's get off the ground and let's do well and get a lot of things opened up. And we got some ditches that are perfectly clean. We got some ditches that haven't been maintained.
First things first.
Yeah,
You got to crawl before you walk.
Yep.
Thank you.
One more bit of business for Nick is the
I have to get there.
materials bids.
Okay, we had a clear-cut winner in the culvert bid, and that is Wind Water out of Hartford for both the plastic pipe from 15 inches, which we use and above, and for a corrugated steel pipe. We don't use that very often. Then we have Moit Concrete for the concrete and the flowable fill. They were the only bidders, so obviously they won. Then on our aggregate, there is something I'm wanting to do this year. Is they were so close, in some places being a nickel off of between prices. All right, if geographically, Moultries on the west end of the county, ASG's on the east end of the county. We have a lot of gravel roads in the west, we got a lot of gravel roads on the east. I would like to be able to, if it's possible, to approve both for these. The highest one we were off was 60 cents, and you put that on an 8-ton truck or even a 10-ton truck, $6 you're going to waste in traffic, moving back and forth. Most of them were within a nickel. Some of the grades were within 10 cents. So if we're on the east end of the county, I would like to use ASG. If we're in the west end of the county, I like to use Bulgers. It's a long travel to go from Mount Vernon Uniontown Road all the way over to ASG, stuck in 41 traffic. If you're going the wrong direction, a wreck on 41 Strip could absolutely destroy our day on ditching or shouldering or rebuilding roads. So having that, back and forth, I think would be beneficial. So is that possible?
You'll say that wear and tear on the trucks. I mean, it's no brainer to me.
Steve, I wonder if you know of any legal hurdle for that?
I'd have to look at the actual bid specs that were put out. if you could give me those, I'd like to make sure that there's no language in there that says that it is for exclusive use or for the entire county or anything like that. If we've got that available, I don't know if Kurt's around, if you could pull that, or if you've
Right.
got those with you, I could.
And we've done that throughout the years, since I've been here. A lot of times, everything comes in on bars, so Mulger may be missing something, they say, hey, and then we'll go to ASG. ASG may be missing something, we'll go to Mulger's, which we've done. But this, I'd like to put this on bid to be able to use both of them just for absolutely the simple fact of timing. Your 40-minute drive from Mount Vernon, Uniontown, empty to go pick up rock at ASG when Bulger's about 15, 20 minutes closer. So it doesn't do a lot in a day. But I'll get with Kurt.
It absolutely makes sense. I just want to make sure there's not something that we put in those bid specs that keep it from happening, and we're going to go check on that right now.
Who creates the bid specs? Kurt does?
Mr. Weeks.
Well, if it doesn't, then I suggest we amend that to make it where it's not single source if it is.
It might be too late.
I'm just saying going
Right.
forward.
Yeah.
Moving forward. And there are some things that are bid out that kind of have to be single source, and so just want to make sure, since I was asked, that there was that there's nothing there that keeps that from happening. But I'll go check on that, see what I can find right now.
If, while we wait on that answer, there are two bids that you're satisfied with besides
Yes,
that last one.
concrete and culverts.
Can we get a motion to approve those bids?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions about those?
Who was first? Who was second? Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we will get clarification on that last one.
All right.
Next, we have the application for Household Hazardous Waste Day. Eric is with us. Any more comments on that?
It's just a grant that we apply for every year. It's the one that we typically wind up having to send money back because we don't utilize all of it. But you don't know until the day of the event.
So you need a voice vote to approve going into applying for that grant. And the Household Hazardous Waste Day is a good thing for our community. It's just hit and miss with people who utilize it.
I've already gotten calls already asking when's it going to be this year.
Yeah, they did a great job of it too.
Get a motion to approve.
So
going out
moved.
for that grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck.
Thanks, Eric.
We have a couple ordinances to read. The first one is our decision to reduce the insurance premium tax in half. You have it in front of you. The entire ordinance is in front of you. The only change, besides going from 9.75% to 4.875%, is in the back where we list the date that it will take effect, and it now will take effect first day of July 2026. So knowing that those are the only two changes, I'd ask for your forbearance in reading the whole thing and just read the summary.
Summary, please.
Everybody else okay with that?
And just to be clear why, rather than just mark out and insert those, my recollection from 2015, when it went down, I believe, 0.25% or something like that, was that's what the state wanted. They wanted the entire thing kind of restated in there. So rather than just a real quick, short and sweet, change this to this type thing. So that's why it's even a little repetitive in a couple places, because I didn't want them to reject it. I wanted them to have it by the time that they need it, so it could go into effect when it needs to.
So we'll read a summary.
Ordinance to amend Article 1 of subsection 137 of the Henderson County Code of Ordinances regarding insurance company license fee or tax to reduce the license fee or tax from 9.75% to 4.875%.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? I do think this will be a boon to many, many people in Henderson County outside the cities. This is our first reading, and we'll make a roll call.
Okay, Magistrate Starks?
Aye.
Magistrate Barry is absent. Magistrate Southard?
Aye.
Magistrate Tompkins,
Aye.
and Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye for the record.
Judge, if you want, we can circle back to the bid question. I do have an answer on that if
Okay.
you'd like. Sorry about that, trying to do a lot of things all at once here. There is, in the notice to bid, there was a section that said the fiscal court reserves the right to award contracts to separate bidders if it appears the lowest and best bids submitted on the foregoing materials are by different bidders. And I think that's something that Kurt and I were talking. I think that's something we added a few years ago to deal with this exact thing. So I do believe that that is something that we can do, Mr. Stallings, and would not have a problem.
Knowing that, you want to take a vote on the bid in question.
I'll make the motion to use both vendors.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve that bid. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs just sent me a text that your mic wasn't on, so.
I don't know how it went off. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry about that. Next, we have the ordinance change to our small farm winery ordinance. This went to Planning Commission. Public hearing was held. Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend the text that we sent them and they sent back. Without any further questions, we can read the ordinance change, first reading.
Ordinance amending the Henderson County zoning ordinance found in the Henderson County Code of Ordinances and Appendix A thereof to include small farm winery farm stay as a conditional use within agricultural zones in said ordinance. Whereas one of the goals of the Henderson City County Comprehensive Plan established pursuant to KRS 100.183 is to encourage and promote the development of a stable and diversified economic base that has employment opportunities within the community, and whereas one of the objectives identified to achieve said goal is to promote and enhance local tourism, and whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court deems it in the best interest of Henderson County to make certain amendments to the Henderson County zoning ordinance to achieve said goals and objectives by including small farm winery farm stays as conditional use in agricultural zones, and whereas pursuant to KRS 100.211 and all other applicable law by resolution adopted on December 9th, 2025, the Henderson Fiscal Court originated proposed zoning amendment text and referred same to the Henderson City County Planning Commission, HCCPC, for public hearing. And whereas the HCCPC conducted a public hearing on the proposed text amendments on January 6, 2026, and a motion to approve said proposed text amendments as presented was unanimously passed by the HCCPC. Now, therefore, be it ordained and enacted by the Fiscal Court of the County of Henderson of the Commonwealth of Kentucky as follows. Number 1, Appendix A zoning of the Henderson County zoning ordinance is hereby amended by making the following amendments with deletions in bold strike-through and insertions in bold underline. A, Article 2, definitions subsection 2.01. I, retain all definitions as currently stated, but make the following. Amend. Agritourism. Any activity that is carried out on a farm, ranch, agricultural operation, horticultural operation, or agribusiness operation, and allows or invites participants to view or participate in activities for recreational, entertainment, or educational purposes. Qualifying activities may include farming, ranching, historic, cultural, civic, or ceremonial activities, including but not limited to weddings and ancillary events, harvest your own operations, farmers markets, or natural resource-based activities. Strike through and small farm wineries and small farm winery farm stays. The activities may qualify as agritourism activities whether or not a participant pays to view or to participate in the activities permitted under KRS 247.800. Amend. Hotel motel, a building occupied or used as a more or less temporary abiding place of individuals or groups of individuals with or without meals, and it may in which there are more than 5 sleeping rooms, but shall not include a small farm winery farm stay as defined in this section. add small farm winery farm stay. Small farm wineries licensed under KRS 243.155 that include up to 9 guest rooms provided for rent to transients, but otherwise satisfy the definitions and conditions of both bed and breakfast and agritourism set forth in this section and subsection 22.03M and N of this ordinance. B, Article 22, Agricultural District, subsection 22.03, Conditional Uses. I, retain all existing language in its entirety, but add the following subsection. S, Small farm winery farm stay is defined in subsection 2.01. 2, all or parts of ordinances in conflict herein are repealed to the extent of such conflict. 3, the provisions of this ordinance are severable and, if any provisions or part thereof shall be held invalid or unconstitutional or inapplicable to any person or circumstance, such invalidity, unconstitutionality, or inapplicability shall not affect or impair the remaining provisions of this ordinance. And number 4, this ordinance shall become effective upon its passage and advertisement according to the law.
We have first reading. Entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Please call the roll.
Okay. Magistrate Starks?
Aye.
Magistrate Barry's absent. Magistrate Southard?
Aye.
Magistrate Tompkins?
Aye.
And Magistrate Putnam.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye for the record. Thank you. That was first reading. We'll be reading both of those amendments to ordinances next meeting as well. Next up, Lori Miller with our animal control reports. If you want to trek all the way up here.
All the way from Evansville. I will say the roads look great out there compared to my neck of the woods across the river. So let's see here. For the month of December, calls for service for animal control, we had 47 of them, with the top 3 being animals at large. 21 of those, 10 welfare checks, and 5 injured animals. So curious to see, I know in the past weekend, we've gotten quite a few welfare check calls, so it'd be interesting to see what our numbers are for January. We have 4 pending court cases. I believe half of those are cruelty, others are just, citations for animals continually running at large. So leading up to this cold weather, also, I just think it's important to note that our ACO officers have been out in the community. Sorry, scam call. Perfect timing. They have been out in the community providing straw for people with outdoor pets and just generally educating the public on, best practices for keeping your pets safe in the winter time. As far as our numbers go for operations, we adopted out 43 animals last month, which is pretty good. Only 1 reclaimed by owner, retransferred 3 to other facilities, and only had to euthanize 1 due to health. Total animals in facility right now, we actually only have 44 dogs, which is amazing, because when I wrote this report, we had 60, so that's a good thing. That means we're doing something right. Speaking of which, in partnership, kind of with what animal control is, striving to help keep pets safe, we're trying this year at the Humane Society to keep pets in their homes with their people where they belong. And one of those is with our Pet Food Assistance Program, which we've officially done a soft launch of. It's called Pete's Pantry. Pete was a dog that was, I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but he left an impression on the board members there. So with this, we're providing families when they're, in between paychecks or they're just unable to feed their pet that week, they can come. I'm collecting data for that, so hopefully I will be able to get some grants to support that program. And I'd like to think in the long run that, along with animal control's efforts, we're going to see lower number of animals running at large or being surrendered. So that's just one thing that we're working on. I'm really excited on, and just stay tuned. Yeah, that's about it. We had 16 dogs spayed or neutered, 8 cats spayed or neutered last month, and I just hired an additional part-time kennel tech. So that's everything happening over there. If you have any questions.
Any questions of Lori?
I'd love it that you only got 43 down there, really. That's great.
Yeah, so that's not including cats, which cats are something we aren't usually overwhelmed by, but
Is that due to adoptions, or picking up or better?
I'd say adoptions went really well last month. Also, just we're seeing a lower number of intake, so I like to think that, along with animal control and the Humane Society, we're partnering up to keep pets with their people, because I would say 90% of our dogs over there were found running at large or dumped in the river bottoms, and a lot of times I can only assume that's from financial hardship, or lack of pet-friendly housing. Is the feedback that I've gotten from folks. They have to move and they simply can't take their pets. They have no other options.
Well, I like the way you're getting the word out, too. Yeah, I see it a lot on social media and stuff, so.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a powerful
Good
tool,
job.
so thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, two housekeeping items that we tackle every year are the annual orders setting maximum amounts for deputies and assistants for both the county clerk's office and the sheriff's office. This is required by the state. To reiterate again, this is the maximum amounts that they estimate for the state purposes. They estimate high, and the real budgets are set when we all meet together in May, obviously, and approve those. But Chip, you came up to the mic, I assume, to add something to the
No, I was
discussion?
just, I just feel obligated that it's up there. I feel obligated to walk up if you had any questions.
And the number plugged in, again, is their promise not to go above that. And they have not come close to exceeding their number they send to the state. I don't even know what happens if you exceed it. Somebody from the state calls down here and says, what's going on? That's never happened, so.
I'm sure the auditors
Yeah.
will be very quick to point
Yeah.
out that,
Right.
Exceeded.
we exceeded our target.
We've
There's
never
all
had
kinds of
that
problems that
experience.
happen
Never
there,
had
and
that.
then it becomes an unbudgeted claim for the county, and it gets really ugly, so.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Same for
That's why you shoot high,
Renisa.
right?
Same for Renisa, always had fallen within the guardrails there, so, again, this is perfunctory, but I can entertain a motion to approve the
So moved.
sheriff's setting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the county clerk's estimate.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. In the past, we have had magistrates who wanted to argue about that. Couldn't quite understand what that was all about, but I appreciate that. Renisa has also submitted to us her county fee her settlement, annual settlement, and I'll let you talk about that if you want.
Yes, today I'm submitting my monthly, quarterly, and yearly reports of payments submitted to the county in 2025, a check for the interest earned in 2025 for our usage tax account, annual order, which we've already done, and my budget for 2026, and the budget, it's projected revenue based on what was collected in 2025, and this is required by the Department for Local Government. It's different from the one, again, that we do in the spring and summer. So, and the local government is actually a calendar year from January to December, so it's completely different than what we work on in the summer. For 2025, December, the excess fees I submitted were $121,022.80, with the total being submitted of $173,037.33. Quarterly, the last quarter of 2025, excess fees in the amount of $369,364.35, with a total for the quarter of $510,907.85, and a yearly amount in excess fees of $1,526,547.60, with a total submitted to the county of $2,227,961.36. Lots of numbers. When comparing 2025 with 2024 numbers, I submitted about $165,000 more to the county in 2025 in excess fees. Our collections were up in delinquent taxes, vehicle usage tax, and vehicle ad valorem tax. So, and that's all I have today.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions of Renisa?
All
And
right.
thank you
Always
to
a great
the-
job, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Attorney Gold's office for help with the delinquent tax number.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve both the annual settlement and,
For the auditors, they like for you
Okay.
to
let me
vote separately.
get a motion to accept the annual settlement.
So move.
Second.
We have motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And now a motion to accept the regular county clerk's report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Gold, your report.
Judge, we've got several checks today. Flow through from the city, $458.33. 3 interest checks, $22.26, $31.41, and $88.22. Dental Life and Vision, $11.10 and $781.46. The payment for the new deaconess at work, $378.99. Aflac, $353.89, and health insurance, $22,105.27, for a total today of $24,230.93, and bringing the fiscal year total to date to $163,837.53.
Motion approved.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's too bad we didn't have our judge scholar here today. This would have been fun amount to play with.
That's a real good check.
Treasurer Ryder, your reports.
The transfers are as presented, and this is redistributing appropriations within the existing budget. These become more necessary as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, but to date has still kept us within our budget.
Notice the one correcting salary posting errors. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, this current year's budget, we split the part-time custodial employees from the regular full-time custodial employee. There's basically 2 separate lines for that. It was not coded properly at the beginning of the fiscal year, so this transfer is transferring the proper amount into the part-time line, which will in turn true up the full-time salary line.
Gotcha. And the last item there, pauper burials. So you know that we have a line item in our LGEA fund, Local Government Economic Assistance Fund, and some years that's utilized more than others. And after we go through a process with district judge across the street, we can, if necessary, provide the funds to cover a
Cremation.
cremation, yeah. And as you see the amount listed, it averages about $1,400 to do that. And so the number in the pauper burials line item is basically a guess based on recent utilization of that. It's always a sad thing when we have to do this because a deceased is either not claimed or cannot be helped by their family. But this year, apparently we had a couple so far, and so that's why we're going to move some money. But in case, I'm not sure this fiscal court has encountered a pauper burial claim, maybe 1 or 2 last 3 years, yeah. But, for whatever reason, we got to bump that up a little bit. So
To date, this takes care of the 2, but again, we don't know what's coming, if anything else.
Judge, I forgot, how does the city fit into this pauper burial? They provide, if you're the grave site?
they do have a section of a cemetery that can be for pauper burials, but that is for a casket.
Right.
and it costs more than what we do with cremations. So, but that option's there. And the city occasionally does their own pauper burial. And that's, I believe, at East End Cemetery. Okay, any other questions on transfers? Motion for transfers? Yep.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
You have received your bank balances after paying claims today. Your day-to-day appropriation should be at approximately 58%. I do have additional claims for the general fund to the Kentucky State Treasurer, $5,463.17. This is for the sheriff's fee audit for period ending December 31st, 2024, and is to come from the audit appropriation line. From the jail fund to Republic Services, $810.74. This is for monthly service and is to come from the contracted services other appropriation line.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the claims. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. I was trying to think it was Fernwood Cemetery, and in the back end of Fernwood Cemetery is where that,
Yeah.
Okay, if anybody else would like to say anything for good of the county, please approach the mic. We have Emily Heron, our Executive Director of the airport, with some good news and an invitation, I think.
Yes. So I just kind of wanted to give an update on our runway rehabilitation and extension project. I know we've talked about this. This has been a long project, but we're in the home stretch now, so I just kind of wanted to give you all an update on where we were with that. So just as a reminder, this project was funded through 3 federal grants that we received, the largest amount being from a community project grant through Congressman Comer. And then, of course, there were local and state matches that helped us get what we needed to make sure we could do all of the pieces of that project while we were down. So we did a full depth reconstruction of our existing runway, and then we extended the pavement by 1,600 feet. Total distance of the pavement is now 7,100 feet. That doesn't mean we can declare that our runway is 7,100 feet long because we have a displaced threshold on the eastern end, runway 27, and that's just to add a little bit extra safety margin where Highway 230 or Highway 136 runs right next to that end of the runway. So that way, when aircraft are coming into land, they're a little higher, and there's less of a chance that they're going to hit a big truck or farm implement driving down the highway. So the distances are sometimes 7,100 feet, sometimes 6,500 feet. There's a lot of different distances that you have to declare for an airport, so it's a little confusing. I won't get into all the details, but either way, we are either tied or now the longest general aviation runway in the state of Kentucky, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we also, along with this project, were able to get a completely upgraded airfield lighting system. So all of our runway and taxiway lights are upgraded to LED lights now, so they're brighter. They look great. And then we were also able to get all new signs that label all of our taxiways and runways. So that just enhances the safety when aircraft come in if they're not familiar with the airport. If they see that there's a notice out saying that taxiway A2 is closed, it's clearly labeled now where taxiway A2 is, and they know not to go there. So several things that are still to be completed this spring. Obviously, when you have a project of this length, with the weather we had this spring, unfortunately, we got started a little later than we hoped. We pushed right up into winter, basically. So there's still final markings that have to go down on the pavement. And then just some other ancillary work, sodding and seeding and that type of thing that have to happen that don't typically happen here in January when we've got 5 inches of snow on the ground. So those will be completed this spring as soon as the weather allows, and then we'll be 100% complete. But the runway has been open since December 22nd, so even though we're closed at this current moment because we are clearing snow off the runway, we've been open for traffic and had several business jets in and out already over the past few weeks. So we're excited to be back up and running and back helping the economy of our community. So that's mostly what I have to say about that. We are going to be doing a ribbon cutting just to celebrate reopening the runway. That's going to be, unfortunately, was supposed to take place this Wednesday, but with the weather this week, we thought it best to reschedule that. So that's going to be on February 11th at noon at the airport. So invite any of you to come out and help us celebrate that accomplishment of being back open and the amazing things we've been able to get done. So thank you all so much for your support throughout the project. We really appreciate it. Couldn't get it done without you.
And congratulations also to Alan Bennett, who helped shepherd this.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, and Steve might be able, and Butch might be able to make sure I'm saying this correctly, but the first word of this, the genesis of this, might have been my very first year as judge executive in 2016. It might have been brought up then. And that's how long it's taken to get it to the finish line for various reasons.
Yeah, it's been in the planning stages since, I believe, 2012,
Okay.
from the airport board's perspective of starting to kind of talk about it and then seeing if the FAA would even approve them to do it. So I'm sure it was brought to the court at that time, but yeah,
I would
it's a
think that
long-going
2016 was when the FAA said, yeah, you must do this.
Probably,
Right,
yes,
that's when
that sounds about right. Yeah, so it's
So it's
been
hard to
a
believe.
long time coming, and I have had the privilege of only coming in right at the end and being here for the exciting part and getting to share with you all of the wonderful things that have been done. But yes, Alan and the airport board have done an incredible job of not backing down when things didn't go our way or funding was kind of promised and then taken away. There's been a lot of ups and downs throughout this project. I know you all are more aware of a lot of them than I am. But they've done an incredible job of making sure we can see this project through, and I think it's going to have a huge economic impact on our community. So,
As I reflect back, the acquisition of property got to be a
Yes.
whole lot more difficult. And Tim can, or Master Southern can testify to that.
I'm
so.
sure, and I heard lots of stories about all of that before I even knew I was ever going to have anything to do with this airport. So,
That's right.
but yeah, we're excited that it's all come to completion. And
Great.
And we were happy to help along with the
Yes.
city, making
Thank you.
sure.
If you want to really you need to go at night.
Oh yes.
Because daytime you drive by and it don't look like much, but at night those lights go forever. I mean,
Yes.
it's you can really tell at night how far it extended.
Well, the first time I got to stand on the end of the extension part, so the end of runway 9, where it had extended, I guess it was maybe the day we were starting the asphalt paving, and I just stood down there and I thought, I can't even see the end of the runway. That's how long it is, and that's weird for a person like me who grew up, flying off of smaller runways and smaller airports. I'm used to, being able to see the other end of the runway, but it's definitely a long way. So it's a big asset for our county.
Pretty cool.
Thank you very much.
We haven't moved mountains, but we did move a road, and and we did a lot of drainage work. I think that's going to pay off big time for the future years, keeping that well-maintained and drained, which is very important for any kind of pavement. But hats off, and I think when you said we're shutting down for this project, we expect to be back open, you were back open pretty much almost right on that same day that you expected. So that's no easy thing, and I appreciate that. I know the people that work and use that facility appreciate that as well, and can't wait to see it in person.
Reverend Johnson.
Hello, Court. Hello. Congratulations, Emily, on the success. And more good news. Just want to thank the county for your participation here last week for our ML King Day. We had a great day, great turnout from the community. Thank you, Judge. And thank everyone for those that attended. So I just want to, we had great reviews from that, just a great day, and the weather cooperated. And so I just want to say thank you for that.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Johnson.
Thank you.
Appreciate all you do.
Dr. Fort was fantastic. He was a fantastic speaker.
Anybody else for good of the county?
About, it was.
Okay.
It was, yes.
Mr. Stallings?
Well, I went back there and went through some numbers. The long reach traco was the only thing that I was kind of, in question about by reading the numbers back to you all originally. But all that's easily figured out. So, if y'all don't mind, could I go ahead and announce, my selections for the obstruction removal? Okay, we have O&M excavation service. They got line items 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. So basically, they got everything except Glasgow picked up the vegetation obstruction with removal, and they also picked up the slope erosion pullback, which, you have your side slope failures. So that'd be, like I said, each individual line item will be done by, the contractor with the cheapest or best bid. So Glasgow will do the vegetation obstruction with removal, and then the slope erosion. And then O&M excavating got everything else.
So we have a recommendation. Any questions?
Will we go, so when you call them and say we have an obstruction, how, is it in the bid of how long they have to go up?
10 days. 10 days to get it to
So it is in there?
Yes, it is in there. 10 days for completion. There also is in the bid, if one of these particular companies were totally slammed with other work, they could not get to it, then we reserve the right to go to the second bidder. Okay. That way the ditch ain't suffering for more than 10 days. So that way we're getting the work done. And I want to go ahead and put these bids out, because that would put us 2 weeks closer to possibly getting work done within, as things open up, we'll see what we have to be repaired.
Are you familiar with and satisfied with the qualifications of these two particular companies?
Yes.
Okay.
I move that we accept the bids.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Master Southern, anything for good of the county?
Coming in this morning, the roads are still slick, but the county's done a really good job. Good job, Nick. I know y'all spent a lot of hours in the seat, and appreciate what you did. Till we get some warmer weather, it's just going to be slick. That's just the way it is. So be careful out there. All's good in District 3.
Thank you. Master Tompkins?
I agree. Nick and crew have done a fantastic job. County roads are in significantly better shape than others, so appreciate the time and effort they took, and they did it safely. Few mailbox casualties, but that happens, unfortunately. And they're listed, and they're going to get those taken care of. No people were hurt, and no vehicles were damaged. Fantastic work. Appreciate it, Nick.
Master Putman?
Thank you, Judge. Just a comment about our finances. When you go through our financial report, it's just incredible the job that all the elected officials and department heads have done managing the money, as well as this court. I think it's worth mentioning. Again, Nick and crew, I know it's nothing but grade A from everybody I know lives in the county, so congratulations on a job well done, you and your crew. And a judge and all is good in the fourth city still cleaning streets. But
well, and so are we. We're still clean.
But it all's good. Thank you.
Mr. Gold.
Want to echo what was said. Congratulations. Well, not congratulations, but thank you to Nick and your crew for everything that you've done. Nick doesn't toot his own horn a whole lot. He's very humble about things. I know he's been down a couple of drivers. I know he, this weekend, was getting in trucks, going around plowing, taking shift, doing those things. And that's certainly above and beyond, a little bit beyond his job description, but he's the kind of guy that sees something that needs to be done, knows there's a mission to be done for the people of this county, goes out and does it. So thank you, Nick, for that, because he literally goes the extra mile all the time, every time there's a chance to do it. So thank you for that, and that needs to be recognized, even though you don't necessarily want it recognized. I think that's a big deal, what you do there. And I think that applies to a whole lot of folks in county government. There's, I always say within our office, the last thing I ever want to hear somebody say is, that's not my job. somebody needs help, we go out and we do it. And that seems to be something that goes through all of county government. I'm really proud to be part of that. And Reverend Johnson, want to go back, talk about the Dr. King Day celebration. It was fantastic. Dr. Fort was just a powerful speaker. If you didn't leave there inspired and on fire about something, you need to get your pulse checked. You need to go to a doctor, because it was a fantastic event. So thank you for putting that on. It was good that we were able to actually have one live due to the weather this time. So thank you for that. Otherwise, things are good in the county attorney's office. We've got our child support office was closed to public business today, just because of the way Clutie Park Plaza was a little choppy last night when I was driving it, checking to make sure that the folks could get in there. It was easier. All the caseworkers and everything had their laptops with them since we knew this was coming, and so they're able to telecommute and keep the office open and keep work going without putting both the staff in danger and the public in danger coming in. Hopefully, Clutie Park Plaza is going to be in a little bit better shape tomorrow, so we can open that division up. The county office is open for business today for anybody that is out and about and needing anything at the courthouse office. Thank you, Judge.
Master Starks.
Thank you, Judge, and thanks everybody for joining us. And again, just a salute to our hardworking men and women out there at the road department. They're highway heroes in my book. They're out there anytime the weather is bad. So, but especially no fun pushing all this snow, and there was a little bit of ice in some places, and that's never fun. So, appreciate everything, and I appreciate our engineer. I think he really goes the extra mile, just like Steve said. I don't know that we've had engineers in the past that would actually be thoughtful enough to think, how can we save the county taxpayers money by having two bidders and being able to save time and be more efficient doing what we do a lot of, and that's gravel roads. So I commend you and keep it up. It's that kind of innovative thought, I think, that pushes us beyond a lot of other counties, I think. I just want to say also thanks to our emergency responders. They had to be out during all this bad weather as well, and they can't take a break. There's still needs out there, and so I appreciate them. And I think what we did this morning as far as extending more funding for the county water project, that's a pretty big deal. I think looking back, a lot of people really appreciate, I think, because I think what we're able to do here is to finally get this department back on track and hopefully keep the rates reasonable and be more accountable as far as, how much water that we're using and how much of it is possibly going to waste because of an undetected leak. And I know all the GIS is going to help us years and years down the line. So I think that's a pretty big deal, along with a lot of other good things that we've done here today. So very productive, even though the weather outside is frightful. I think everything in the fifth is delightful, Judge. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. I was wondering how you were going to get delightful in that sense, and you did it. Echo everything was said. We visited the road department yesterday morning, first thing, and guys were in good spirits and making progress. There's still more to do. If you're on a third or fourth, ancillary road, it probably isn't going fast enough. But we're trying to do everything we can. I don't know that people truly understand how many miles of county road we have. It's an enormous amount. So they're doing the very best they can. And while the weather is still cold, the sunshine out, that'll help with some melting, and it'll get better over the week, I'm sure. So please send our compliments to the guys, Nick and the gals. I appreciate everybody here. Thank you for coming out on a snowy day and keeping us on schedule for this fiscal court meeting. I appreciate it. There was a lot of business to do, and we got it done. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Keep Magistrate Putman's family in your prayers. All those in favor can leave.